We now move on to Lando and the Rebels and their assault on the Death Star. And yeah, this is pretty cool actually, you know, like, they don't attack the Death Star straight away because the shields are still up. Then they get into this dogfight with the TIE fighters. Then the Death Star starts shooting because it's fully operational, and like tension just goes whoa straight through the roof, and they're like, oh, we're all gonna die. It could be a trap. So then they start using tactics and start fighting closer to the Star Destroyer, so if the Death Star were to shoot, they could possibly blow up their own ships. Very cool stuff, and Lando really does a good job marshalling the tension and really believing in the moment. Like, I'm kind of invested in Lando more than Han Solo in this part, which I never thought would happen. I don't think it's as good as the battle in Star Wars A New Hope, but it still has some really, really good moments. And in the conclusion, when they finally do make it to the reactor core and blow it up, you get a sense of, yeah. And now we get to Luke meeting the Emperor. And this is glorious. This is what should have been the rest of the film. This is really where I start to pay attention. The Emperor's performance is so twisted and maniacal. It's so fun to watch. It's dripping in tension and suspense, and you drink it all in. Once again, the fantastic use of light and shadow really, really makes this moment special. The Emperor keeps baiting Luke again and again, saying you will join the dark side and you will watch your friends die. And it's so cold and calculating. He then begs Luke, strike me down with all your hatred and take your father's place by my side. And then finally Luke snaps and he reaches forward, grabs his lightsaber, goes to strike, and is stopped by Vader. And then we get round 2 of Luke versus Vader. Vader then taps into his own force powers and feels Luke's emotions, and he senses that he has a sister, a twin sister, and he taunts Luke by saying, if you won't join us, maybe she will. This involves the fight into some pure emotional rage with barely any skill, just pure hatred in the way they clash their swords together. There's a beautiful one-shot panning from right to left of Vader and Luke fighting across the silhouette of the Death Star. This is some magical cinema going on, and I'm just gutted you only get it in these moments here. It also does give us number 6 of 8 of no! Luke does get the upper hand and finally, in retaliation, cuts off Vader's hand, revealing the mechanical underarm. The Emperor then starts to laugh and give a slow clap as he urges Luke to kill Vader and take his father's place at his side. But Luke refuses, declaring, I am a Jedi. Not quite sure about that, bud. But then the Emperor unleashes force lightning through his fingertips and starts to electrocute Luke, saying, no, young Skywalker, you will die. Yet Vader can't bear to see his son in so much agony. You cut off his hand, you psycho. And he picks the Emperor up, being doused in electricity, and throws him down the reactor core, seemingly killing the Emperor. Episode 9 trailers, more likely still alive. This is where Vader's breathing becomes more ragged, as it's clear he's starting to die. He shares one last moment with Luke where his helmet is removed and he looks upon his son with his own eyes, as he too passes away. The film ends with Luke holding a funeral for Vader and then joins the celebrations on Endor with all of his friends, just as the Force ghosts of Obi-Wan, Yoda and Anakin Skywalker look on. And that was Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. I struggled through that. I was really looking forward to this movie, like genuinely. I remember enjoying it as a kid, and I really thought, when I get onto the original trilogy, I'd barely have a bad word to say. I mean, you saw my reaction, I hope you saw anyway, my reactions through A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. I was a fanboy. I couldn't stop gushing over how amazing this film is. And then I got to this one, and I bunged it on. I was like, here we go again. I knew I wasn't too keen on the opening Tatooine scene. And Ewoks, yeah, but I thought I enjoyed it a lot more. But this time round, yeah, this was a struggle to get through. So I'm going to give you my 3 good and 3 bad, as always. I'm going to start with the bad at number 3. They replaced Sebastian Shaw with Hayden Christensen in every reiteration and remastered version possible. I don't like it. I do not like it at all. I think that Sebastian Shaw's character as Anakin, although he barely speaks and is just mainly used as the Force Ghost at the end, I think it was better. I think it was something you could look at and go, so that's what he looked like, kind of thing. Using Hayden Christensen from Revenge of the Sith just to stand there and then look in like kind of like the wrong direction, where like you got Obi-Wan and Yoda looking there and he's looking over there. You know, it sticks out badly. Like, I get that that was the last time he was human, but couldn't they have then done him like bald and like covered in like debris of like lava and that? That's what he really was like before he went under the mask. But I suppose that looked too terrifying. At least with Sebastian Shaw, you get like who he's meant to be. This one, it just sticks wrong for me. I don't like it. And number 2, the Battle of Endor and the tone of the movie. It is far too whimsical and happy-go-lucky, and just like the Ewoks take out stormtroopers with like bow and arrows and rocks, and just they do like all these ridiculous hijinks to stop the stormtroopers from winning, and like it's really silly, and just there's like hardly any tension or stakes, and boring, genuinely boring. I never thought I'd say that about a Star Wars movie. And the number 1 thing I hate about this movie, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Harrison Ford's Han Solo. Oh, I feel depressed just saying it. How can you go from having an amazing character-driven performance in Empire Strikes Back to this? I mean, clearly he was there for the paycheck. He was there in body, not in spirit. And it shows badly. Han Solo's line delivery, his charm, it's all gone and wrong, and just... Oh, I mean, don't get wrong, the film ain't great, but Jesus, I miss that sparkle from Harrison Ford. It really does go missing here. Now, I know I've been quite down on this film, but I am going to go through my 3 things I love about this movie, starting at number 3, Yoda's goodbye. Honestly, his death scene is really somber, really serious. Like, it's lovely use of music again, and it's very, very intimate, and it's just nice. I know it's bad, like he died and whatnot, but it's just a nice way of seeing someone finally letting go. Like, Obi-Wan's was sudden and like shocking. His one was like a slow deterioration. You can tell he's like, I want to rest now. I'm done. And it was nice. I liked it. Number 2, the Death Star Assault. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Lando did a damn good... Sorry, Billy D. Williams did a really good job as Lando in this one. Adding tension, suspense, and really giving it some energy that this film really lacks. Like, the effects are great, there's more pilots involved, there's more catastrophe and explosions, and yeah, it's really enjoyable. And the number 1 thing I love about this film is... It's Luke v Vader, isn't it? Come on, let's not beat around the bush. It's brilliant. Like, the use of shadows, the use of music, the passion that goes into it. James Earl Jones' voice versus Mark Hamill's performance. Easily his most stoic performance. I'm going to say that back. It's not easily his best performance. Empire still his best performance, but it's still a very good performance from Mark Hamill, especially when he's on screen with Vader. With that being said, and I'm loath to give this score, but I'm going to give it because this was my original score I was going to give, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's still better than the prequels, and it still has a lot to offer in terms of an ending, but that whimsical stuff really, really nearly put it down to like a 5, but I'm going to give it a 7. It was my original idea of what I thought the film was going to be. And even when I was writing the review out, I was like, yeah, it's still enjoyable in places. But it nearly drops. I'll see how I feel in a few more years, see how it takes me there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and as always, leave me those dirty comments. And I'll see you all next time. May the Force be with you.